Happy new moon in Cancer. Welcome to another Love Me Chit Chat. I'm Trish Campbell, and I'm just waiting for my good friend Nadine Searle to join. We are going to be talking about the shift and the shift that we're both feeling. This came out of a conversation we had, like all of our chit chats do, and we want to bring that out into the open and talk about all of life's experiences and just I think I want to touch on the energy right now too. But I think Nadine's here, so I'll let her in. Just give that a second. There you are. Hi,
Hello,
Nadine.
hello. How are you?
Can you? I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Can you see me this time?
I can see
Yes.
you, I can
Okay.
hear you. Yeah,
Okay.
that's good.
Okay. Technology is working. My thing's a little bit crooked, but I'm just trying to fix that.
Yeah, straighten ourselves up.
So yeah, I was just I mean you came in quick, so I just
That's good.
yeah, was talking about or it's acknowledging the new moon in Cancer that is upon us. I wanted to just touch briefly on the energies right now because like we were just talking about we're buzzing and like feeling that energy and we're just fresh off, well, the Cancer solstice, summer solstice for us in the Northern Hemisphere, which is always my favorite season. Um, so there's that offers us like sort of this um, portal into our higher self. On top of that, we've had the Jupiter Cazimi yesterday, which, if you're not familiar with what that is, that's when Jupiter is lined up with the sun in the sign of Cancer, where Jupiter is exalted. So, where it is most magnificent, has the most power. It's a very potent time. That combined with now we're lining up with the new moon, which is also a time for new beginnings. Like, this is a powerful time for, like, we always talk about manifestation and we're always manifesting, but this is different. This is like, and so again, always in line with what we were planning to talk about anyways, with this shift like that we are feeling. And I think a lot of people are feeling that right now. And I feel like we should not underestimate like the power that's like happening right now, and whether you believe in astrology or not, those energies, like we always talk about, are there for us to support us, to lean into. We can work with them. They give us insight. And of course, we have free will and all of that. But those energies are happening whether we're believing it or not. And I think now is the time that we are being called to face our truth, like the good, the bad, the ugly. And sometimes it's uglier than others. And like, experiences that we go through are there for us to learn from and grow if we can face them rather than trying to skip steps. So
Mm.
it's a lot. I mean, there's so much I could say about that, but I don't want to like take up all the time just talking about that. But I feel like we'll weave that back in at some point. But
Mm.
like I said, when I was waiting for you, this conversation, this topic came out of one of our conversations of what we felt like we were going through this sort of shift, but we couldn't really see the next steps. And maybe we could, and we're like, it didn't feel so great, or it's not turning out like how we thought it would, or, all the things. So, how are you feeling about
Mm.
that right now?
I've just got to agree with you. It's all of that, isn't it? And I know there's that planetary aspect, and because I'm aware of it now than I wasn't before, and I'm sort of grateful for that because that gives me it also almost helps me make a bit of sense of it, that I know that it's a planetary, it's bigger than me, that kind of thing, but also to think that I know I'm feeling really glad that I can notice a shift and I can really,
Mhm.
really feel that. I'm not quite sure where I'm shifting to or what I'm shifting into. So that
Mhm.
comes with a bit of fear and anxiety, I've got to be honest with you. But I'm feeling that change. I'm feeling something has changed massively. So I'm also feeling, I've got God, every feeling's going round and round in circles at the moment. I'm feeling that I've opened myself up and I'm going with the flow of where I might be going, letting the control go a little bit and go, oh, where's it going to go? What's going to happen? And that's exciting. And I'm really feeling that. But I do also go, there's a bit of sadness because I know that I've changed. I know that I've shifted. So there is also a bit, so I'm spending a bit of time reflecting and looking back and maybe going, oh, I'm not sure if I want to change, that kind of thing. So very, very much, this whole range of emotions, which is probably quite natural and normal. And as we say, I'm much more open to my sensitivity now. I'm feeling more, I'm allowing myself to feel more. And that's the way it's going to be, isn't it? But I'm surprised at how much I'm sort of feeling the sadness, and that maybe is letting go, the change.
Mm-hmm.
I've let go of a lot, and I really recognise that, and I know I've needed to, and I know that's for the good. But I
Mm-hmm.
think there is a bit of grief in there, and a little bit of
Yep.
sadness and loss. And I know I'll adjust. I'm adjusting all the time, and that's fine. I'm still hugely impatient. I want to know what it is, and I want to know where I'm going. But things are coming up for me this year. I always start the year, we all say don't rush into the new year, don't we? But I
Mm-hmm.
always go like, I sort of think, well, this is where I think I'll be by now. And I'm nowhere near it. But, and again, maybe that's the way it's always going to be, and that's probably okay. So yeah, as you can probably tell, I've got a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of frustration, a little bit of
Mm.
impatience. But bottom line is, there is a big feeling of shift. There is a big feeling new things are coming and changing, and I know that's good. I've almost like got hold on in there. It will be okay, kind of thing. I'm having to talk to myself in that way and go, here we go.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised. I say the sadness has been surprising for me because it keeps hitting me, and I keep going, oh, I'm sad, and what was that? And keep reflecting, as I say,
Mm-hmm.
almost looking back and I'm thinking how things were, um, and comparing to what they're like now. And again, do you think that's? I mean, is that quite a normal thing? Do you think to be thinking like that?
Yeah,
Normal.
absolutely. Absolutely. And the whole time you're talking about this, well, first of all, thank you for sharing all of that and the real rawness of it.
Mm, mm,
And so I feel that too. And all I'm thinking of is that, and I don't want to speak in cliches, but your new life will cost you your old one. And that is like
yeah.
so exactly what you
Mm,
just said, because there is
mm,
grief in that and letting go of the past version of who we were.
mm,
And emotions wrapped up into that. And that's okay. And it's like this is the hard part about growth and expansion, is to feel what we're feeling when we're feeling
yeah.
it. And that's what I'm talking about. It's not a time to skip steps. It's time
Mm,
to face those things that are hard and
mm,
uncomfortable and the things that we feel like we have to let go of if we want to continue to grow and expand. And
mm,
I feel like even this time, like that's what I'm talking about. Like and you said it so perfectly about like at the beginning of the year we set these intentions for the year, and then like they're big and grand, and then like we might not, like now we're mid-year and we might not be where we wanted to be or
no,
thought we would be,
mm,
but that's okay. And like
yeah.
we can then, even like this time that we're in right now with all this astrological stuff I just mentioned, is like it's time to push that edge of our potential even further. So
Yeah.
even dream bigger than what we thought like 6 months ago. And
Yeah.
I'm when I'm saying this, when we're saying this, like I feel like I'm not just talking to you out there, listening. I'm talking to myself too. And it's like this is like I need to do this for myself as well. I need to like really walk my talk, and sometimes that's easier than others. And I feel that too, like everything you just explained, like the grief in letting go of the old version of who we were, or whatever that looks like for us, but also I'm experiencing new experiences and the old self reappearing and patterns. And I'm like,
Yes.
why am I doing this? And then
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
noticing that and saying, nope, I'm not going to go to self judgment. I'm going to like
Yeah.
have compassion for myself. First of all, I'm noticing it now. Where before I
Mm,
didn't notice it. So there's
mm,
growth there. But also, like, it doesn't feel good when you realize you're repeating something that you kind of quote unquote know better that to do that. And
mm,
um it can like, yeah, so there's things like experiences that may, like I think you even said that too, like frighten us, or we have fear around because we don't know, and it's bigger than anything we've known and we can't really fully see it yet. And so that's when, yeah, we might dip into those older patterns or whatever, or be
Mm,
faced with that. At least that's what I've experienced. And it's like, it's okay.
mm,
So then, yeah,
yeah,
now I did this. I had this reaction, but next time, like, so it's like, it's all a learning process, every little piece of it. And even if
mm,
we think we've learned something, there's still more to be learned from that, from
mm,
this new perspective that we're constantly jumping,
yeah,
stepping to, or whatever.
yeah. And I think, what do you think that it is? And maybe this is part of my sadness as well. Maybe you can relate. I'm sure you can. Um, we find ourselves going back to our old patterns, don't we? Our old
Hmm.
patterns pop up because they're our security. They're what we know, aren't they? That's what we did in the
Yeah,
past for decades, in my case, you know. And then we go, oh no, I don't do that anymore, you know, that kind of thing. And then there's a bit of me, oh, but it was much easier when I did. Maybe, you know, there is, and
yeah,
again, that's that reminding, like you say, you've had those old patterns popping up, and you go, oh, okay, but I've grown and things have changed, and I'm doing things a different way. And much as that is to be celebrated and for the good, like I say, that's growth and that's really recognizing your own emotions and how you deal with things.
yeah,
And that's all good. There is a bit of me that just go, oh God, you know, the comfort of what we used to know and the comfort of that's the way we used to do it. And it seemed, you know, that maybe a bit nostalgic, you know, just going, oh, back in the day, it was all so much easier. It wasn't. I was living an absolute nightmare. But there's a bit of me, my fantasy is going, oh my God, it was so much easier then. And it wasn't. You know, life
hmm
is much better now. But I sometimes, when I look back, I'm going, oh, it was just rose tinted glasses kind of thing, you know. So I
uh,
think, do you think there is a bit of, I'm probably
yes.
doing that?
I think that is exactly, yeah. I'm so glad you brought that up, because I feel like that's a lot of where we like get stuck. And I feel like I mentioned it in one of my posts, like leading up to this, about the shift. And I feel like we're
Yeah.
really at a turning point between, like,
Mm.
yeah, it's easier to go back into what's comfortable, not knowing, ignorance is bliss, all of those
Yeah.
things. And
Yeah.
kind of, with everything that's going on in the world right now, especially, it can feel like, because the old systems are, when I've talked about this a lot, we talk about this a lot in our chit chats over the course of the
Mm.
years.
Mm.
But the old system, and it's a process, it's not happening overnight. We are in
Yeah.
it, we are in the
Yeah.
midst. That's this shift that we're in
Mm.
individually, that is
Mm.
then happening on the collective level too, but it always happens
Yes.
on the individual level
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
And yes, like, it's so much. I think back to even like 10 years ago or whatever, or 15 years ago, whatever, it's like, yeah, there's a certain level of comfort you get because you grow, and then you are
Yeah.
in that and you're operating from that place, and then it becomes comfortable, and then you kind of, yeah, like to step out into something bigger is scary, and it's harder to navigate that unknown versus what you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we know that life can turn upside down in a heartbeat too. So
Mm.
we don't
Mm.
have that control that we think we do. And
Mm.
so, like, that's what I constantly try to remind myself, is like, why do I want to stay in that comfort?
Yeah. Mm.
And I think a lot of us do. So it's not like to shame, like, to be
No.
in that
No.
place,
So it
but
is quite normal, isn't it?
it
Yeah.
is normal.
Mm.
And but also there's so much more, so much greater life experience waiting for us on the other side of letting go of that old self and
Yeah.
that comfort zone and all of
Mm.
that. I think
Mm.
I'm not quite finding the right words to say what's in my mind and heart
No.
about it right now, but maybe it'll come up. But
It
yeah,
will come, it will come. But I'm
yeah,
getting what you're saying, and it is like you say, it's not just us, is it? It is reflected in the global energy, isn't it? You know, there's a lot going on that is scary, and there's a lot going on that is change, and it has to be. You know, it's almost like the destruction before the emerging, you know, that kind of thing. And
yes,
that is happening on a global level. And again, I'm really optimistic for the world's future. You know, that we will get through the tough. It seems a bit, you know, really tough at the moment in some areas, doesn't it? But actually, you know, I'm feeling that my little bit of sadness, if you like, reflects that kind of, it's not comparable at all, but I feel there's a little bit of, you know, sometimes you've got to feel those feelings that aren't comfortable and go through that sort of chaos, if you like, and then it comes clearer, doesn't it? But
Yeah.
but I'm learning all the time that even at that point, like you say, then you're in a bit of a comfort zone again, and then you change again, and there's something else comes up, or you change on purpose. So that comfort where I'm always going, oh, I just want to get comfortable, and then I'm done, is
Hmm.
probably never going to be. We're always, like you say, evolving and changing, and in a way, that's probably what I want, because even if I am in a comfortable, lovely piece of life, I go and change it anyway. So if it changes because someone else does, I'll go and do it anyway, because I don't want to sit in comfort all the time. Much as I'm sitting here now going, that's all I want. It's not true, really, is it? We are constantly changing,
Yeah.
evolving, challenging ourselves, if you like. Life's
Hmm.
challenges come at us. So that's always going to be. And I think as well, it is that realization that um, that is meant to be, and that's what this is all about. And
It
I
so
know,
is.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I never even used to think about that before. I just used to get on with things and thought I was totally in control and everything was going my way, but it wasn't. So it is that awareness now, isn't it, that makes me personally feel quite uncomfortable. I'm more aware than I've ever been. But that's good, isn't it? And to,
It
like you
is
say,
good.
we both talked about, haven't we? We've got our old habits that we
Hmm.
recognise when they pop up again, and then we will question them, and maybe we'll go, okay, is this going to serve us well in this situation or not? And we can choose and we can change, and that's totally empowering and something I never ever knew, didn't even know about, never knew I could do. So that's a different way of looking at things, isn't it? And that is quite. Um, yeah, empowering, freeing, whatever you want to call it.
It
It's a
all
good,
of the above.
yeah, it
Yeah.
is, isn't it? And I know we've talked about the messy middle before, but all of this
Hmm.
shift, we are still putting ourselves in that messy middle all the time. And you put
Yes.
a post up recently, didn't you, about the shift and comparing it to the caterpillar chrysalis and turning into a
That's what I was
butterfly.
just, yeah.
It's so, but were you just about to say that? It's so
Mm,
perfect, isn't it? And I only found out recently, and I probably said this to you before, but I'll say it again, that actually that middle, where I've always thought that chrysalis stage, where it's like a comfy warm bed and it's cozy and lovely. It isn't. It's a mess in there, isn't it? That's what
yeah.
happens. And then it evolves. So I didn't even know that. So I thought that's much more in tune with what maybe I'm feeling at the moment. I may be in that bit of a messy middle again. And again, but I will emerge, because that's part of how we do it. That's the process, isn't it?
That's the
So
process. Yeah. And
emerging, yeah.
And yeah, that process of metamorphosis, like we go through that too as humans, and that's
Yeah,
exactly
yeah.
why we are here. We weren't, to expand on what you said, we're not here to just stay in one spot,
Mm,
to stay in our comfort zone, to work, to be cogs in the machine, in the system, and to work, ourselves to death. Ultimately, we're meant to like get to a certain level and then go to the next level and learn. And that process is a process of like it includes the grief, because we have to let go of what isn't serving us on the path forward in that. And sometimes we have to let go of the loss that we experience, um, whether we create that loss or it happens to us, and that's people, places, things, all of the above, like
yeah,
as
yeah.
far as loss. And that is the process of metamorphosis, to
Mm,
continuously, regenerate
yeah, yeah.
our being. And I always say, let our soul, allow our souls the journey it's here to take, because that's
Mm,
why we
mm,
are here. We're not here to just stay in one spot. And I think that's what's happening now with what I was going to say earlier about the old system crumbling. And like, we can say that for the next 20 years, because
yeah,
that's the
yeah,
process of it.
yeah.
And the old system grasping onto itself to maintain control, where more and more people are awakening to what we're talking about right
Mm,
now, that
mm,
we are meant to grow and expand and live, have multiple different experiences while we're
mm,
here.
mm,
And that process isn't always linear. It's not always joyful, and
mm.
often more painful than joyful. And that's
Yeah,
okay, because that's why we have the spectrum of emotions. That's who we are as humans, sentient beings, meant to feel all of it and
yeah,
not run
yeah,
away from it. So I feel like, um yeah, that is exactly like what we are in the middle of right now. And that's the metamorphosis, and
yeah,
that
yeah.
um
And I
chrysalis to butterfly process.
Yeah, I love that you say, we're meant to feel all those emotions because it's a good reminder for me because I used to always be just going for the happy, going for the like comfortable and everything because I thought that was the only way to be. But now
Mm-hmm.
I do know that, I am going to feel sadness, I'm going to feel pain, I am going to feel frightened, I'm going to feel all those things. But I also know they don't last, none of them last. And
Yep.
and so I'm not so scared of feeling those things, even when I feel really down and I go, well, that's okay. There's a reason for that, and that's okay. Whatever. I can quite often work out what that reason is, and then I know it can change. So so you're absolutely right. That reminder to say that we are meant to feel all the feelings. We are meant to do all of it and go through it all again and again and again. It's a good reminder because I used to just think, why can't I just be happy all the time? And now
Yeah.
I don't want to be happy all the time. I quite like the range of emotions. Although it didn't sound like at the start of this chit chat moaning about
Yeah.
it.
But I love that you can be honest in how you're feeling, and that's why we're
Yeah,
doing this out loud, having our, what we would be having behind closed doors, the conversation
yeah,
kind of thing
yeah.
out in the open, because we're not the only ones that are going through it. And I know a lot
That's
of
the thing,
people like
isn't it?
say they resonate with what we're talking about, and that's why we're talking about it,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
normalizing this process of being human and
Mm,
um
mm.
everything that we're talking about right now, I mentioned to you before, I wanted to like read something, and I feel like
Yes,
it's a
please
perfect
do.
time to. Normally,
Please
we
do.
will share
Yeah.
something, or you have something to read from my book. But I came across this morning, this reflection on Instagram, and it's by the account called "We Are Spiritual Beings," which we are all spiritual beings, whether we lean into that spirituality or
Mhm.
not. We are that first before we are dense human bodies. So yeah, I wanted to share this because I think it's exactly what we're talking about and summarizes it so perfectly. So again, it's We Are Spiritual Beings on Instagram. You think becoming your best self will feel powerful. It won't. It'll feel like dying. Growth isn't pretty. It's not smooth. It's a breakdown. It's the death of your old self on repeat. Just when you think you've gotten to where you want to be, you realize you still have so much further to go. And that's tough. You'll feel lost. You'll question everything. Some days you'll win. Some days you'll lose. But that's the price of ambition. Transformation, expanding into your potential, is painful. You have to tear down the walls of comfort, break the chains of what holds you back, and bet on your damn self. It's brutal, it's violent, but it's fucking glorious, and it's worth it. Because on the other side of that death of the old you is who you could be,
Wow.
which
That,
is like, I don't know, that
that,
just like hits home, and
yes, yes.
I feel like summarizes everything we were just talking about. So,
Yeah, brilliant. Wow. So you just came across that, did you? And it spoke
yeah.
to you. Yeah. I think that's the thing. And like you were saying earlier, for us talking about how we feel, it does help other people resonate and just go, oh, okay, I get it, and knowing they're not alone is so good. So what you just read out there made me go, yeah, that explains exactly what I'm feeling. And
Yeah.
and that kind of, we can break out. And as you were reading it, I was thinking of the oh goodness, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, that
Hmm.
transformation. Are you familiar with that? Where
Yeah.
he changes from a person into a beast and then back again. And it is, in different takes, there's films I've seen and everything, it's done in different ways. But it's painful and it's ugly and it's horrible. But the change is there, so I think that is he's right, isn't it? But those words, yeah, they really hit me. So thank you for reading that out, finding it and
Yeah.
reading it out. And I'm sure it will really other people will get that because it describes it exactly as it is, isn't it? So and we're meant to. And you're right, going through it, there's something better there. And I know that in my heart, I know I'm coming to something better. I'm coming to
Hmm.
something that maybe is meant to be or whatever. I don't know. It's a little bit unknown, and that doesn't always sit comfortably with me. But that's what it's all about, isn't it? I'm not meant to know it all, so it's
And
fun.
yeah, and that is something like that I wanted to talk about too, because you and I talked about that before. Is like, yeah, we don't necessarily, we can't see it, and we're not meant to at the moment, because I
Mm.
think if we saw it, we would run away from it, and we would try
Oh
to
yeah,
shape it and control it and do all the things that
yes,
would mess it
yes.
up. So,
Oh yeah.
but
Got
I'm reminded of you saying like, because we were talking about just everything that's been unfolding for you and the work that you do to help others and all that. And it's like being like flowing versus forcing and, having it look differently than you thought it
Yeah,
would look and
yeah.
all of that. So,
Mhm.
like, I don't know if you want to expand on that at all or.
Yeah. Do you know, it's really interesting that you said that because that's the big part of what is going on in my life now. I
Hmm.
thought I'd be back to work in the way that I planned, but it hasn't worked like that. I'm not as things haven't gone as quickly in my recovery as I thought they would. So I'm not firing on all cylinders. I'm doing okay, but I'm not as much as I thought I would be. But also my business plan, if you like, so much as I had one, is shaping up completely differently for the last 2 years, actually. So last year it was taken up a lot with the charity calendar that I did. You know, that opened up new doors for me. It was amazing, wonderful experience.
Hmm.
This year there's new things coming my way that I didn't even know were there. So it's amazing. I'm so grateful for all of that. But that comes with a, do you know, it might sound a bit strange, but you'll totally understand it. It comes a little bit, it's almost like I failed. I didn't do what I set out to do. I'm doing something else. And there's a
Hmm.
bit of me going, oh, that's not good. You're not doing it. Keep on track, focus. What's the matter with you? But that's not what it's about. That is because I am open more. And because I'm going with, like you say, flow instead of forcing it. I love that term. But I do have that little bit of me that is telling myself off, going, "Oh, good, you've gone so off track." But I know deep down it feels right. But again,
Hmm.
it is that I don't know where I'm headed. I don't know what's going to come of this. And again, it is my comfort zone is to be in control and do that. But I know that if I'm in control, I'd have missed all of what's happened the last couple of years, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't want that for a million years. I wouldn't want that. I'm so grateful for everything that has come my way. I'm grateful for everything that's going to keep coming, and I know that's partly because I had put the control away a little bit. I've opened myself up. The universe is supporting me. Remembering that is a comfort.
Hmm.
These things are coming my way, and I love the fact that whenever I share something with you, you're so, oh, that's meant to be, that's brilliant. You give me that little sort of nod and support and encouragement because sometimes I go, oh, what am I doing? But I'm doing something I didn't plan to do, and that can be amazing. So it's there's no normal, is it? But this is my new way of
Hmm.
being. This is what the universe is opening up because I know that when I look back at the past and I've been sort of focused on this is my track, this is what I'm doing, I've missed all of that. I've missed, all that's happened to me more recently. I would have missed if I was still on track and
Yeah.
being the way that I thought I used to, I should have been. So I think, yeah, for me
And
personally, there's just so much difference, and maybe that is getting used to leaning into that, like you always say, and going, okay, I don't know what's going on, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going with this something I never even knew about. Um, and getting used to that might be again my new comfort zone, my new normal, if you like. Just go, yeah, I'll just see. Well, who knows.
yeah.
So it's adjusting, isn't it? It was so much adjustment.
It is. And I love, like, I just want to emphasize what you said about, like, you may have missed something if you would have forced what you thought
Totally.
you
Yeah.
wanted. And I think
100 times.
that is like an indicator that what we sometimes like have dreamt up for ourselves isn't big enough. Like, and that's
Hmm.
why, like, when we're in this middle of this shift, we can't see what it is because it's that big. And it's
Yeah.
like, and yeah, it hasn't unfolded yet. Like you're
Mhm.
just in the middle. You might even be in the early stages of it, not even in the middle yet.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like we think we're in the middle of something because that middle can be like a big space to
Yeah.
be. But I
Yeah.
feel like yeah, like those things that we wanted for ourselves and then we try to force it, we're missing other opportunities because
Yes.
we're not open to going with the flow. And like one thing
Yeah.
kind of leads to, or something may come in and we're like, no, I don't want that, or but we're missing that it might be a connector to something bigger. So
That
I think
that's the
allowing
thing.
ourselves to explore things
Yeah.
that we hadn't thought of that come into our
Yeah. Yeah.
atmosphere is
Yeah.
like huge right now. And that's like
Yeah.
what we're talking about. Pushing the edge on our potential to what we thought our potential was before, what we thought our dream was yesterday is like that's not big enough for us anymore. And
Yeah.
it's, that just may be a small piece of it.
Yeah, and that's the point I really want to pick up on for everyone else's benefit as well, because that's really hit home to me. That actually you said earlier, if we could see it, we might run away from it. And it's
Yeah.
not that what it is not for us and not good for us, but the fact is if we're not quite ready, then we would actually go, like you say, sometimes we have repeated lessons and we go because we're in a different place, we're in a different mindset, so that we're more ready for it, more accepting. So you're absolutely right. You know, when I think about the opportunities that are coming my way, if they had come earlier, maybe I would have gone, I can't do that. I'm not, you know, doubt myself and my abilities, you know, whereas things are evolving in a
Hmm.
natural flow and going, and I'm going, oh, maybe I could do that, you know, rather than going, I couldn't because, like you say, the divine timing, if you like, maybe that's what it is. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
Is there's more out there than just what we're doing, isn't there? You know, it's
exactly.
someone else maybe is looking after. I don't know. I don't understand it enough. But I love this idea that there's a bigger picture and someone knows better than me or something
Hmm.
knows better than me.
Some
Don't we?
the energy out there, I think, is like, well, very potent right now. It
Yeah,
always is
yeah.
potent, but I feel like,
Mm,
yeah, you're saying, I want to say it like we have that energetic support, whether that's the universe, divine
yeah,
timing,
yeah,
our ancestors, our spirit team on
yeah,
the other
yeah,
side. That,
yeah.
I'm somebody who I didn't used to like lean into that kind of thing, and now like daily I'm talking to my loved ones who've passed and asking
Yeah,
for their help, because I
yeah.
was told once by a medium that they're literally just standing there waiting for
Yes.
instructions.
Yeah.
Like they can't help us if we don't ask them. We have to ask them. So that may sound
Yeah.
like way out there for a lot of people, but it's like I love the ongoing dialogue of that and the
Yeah.
signs that I get, the confirmations and validations that I'm supported in so many different
Yes.
ways. We are
Yeah.
all supported if
I
we
love that
like
too. And
allow
again,
ourselves to be.
yeah, if we allow ourselves and if we step into that. And I think, again, for people to go, you know, our loved ones, whether they're with us or not, they're still there for us. To know that and feel that, that must be a huge comfort for you, I would imagine. And just as you
Hmm.
said it, I thought, oh my goodness, you're right, I've forgotten, you know, forget these things. And also, I know someone who looks at guardian angels that way. There's always a guardian angel who will support you and you can ask for help and guidance. Yeah, whatever we want to look towards, you know, however we want to do that. I love the fact that it's ancestors because they might be people, you know, it could be people close in our relationships, you know, maybe
Hmm.
grandparents or whatever, or it could be someone that we don't even know, you know, but they're ours. They've got our back, haven't they? You know, and I really love that. And I remember working with a therapist once who did a session with me where it was look back to immediately, you know, your parents, your grandparents, and visualize that they're standing behind you and holding you.
Hmm.
And it was such a power. I don't know if you've ever done anything like it, but such a powerful thing. And so I could actually, obviously, the ones that I could visualize, the ones that I met in real life, but also then I felt this went back and back and back to people. I could visualize people. I could feel the love and the care and the support from generations back. You know,
Hmm.
who knows? It was such a real powerful experience that I thought. And sometimes when I remember, and you just reminded me, I'll do it again because to feel that is wonderful. To go, actually, this is not just about me. This is like it goes way back. You know, women, for
Hmm.
instance, you know, have had the same struggles, the same things going on, and we can. And like we've said in past chit chats, you know, we can heal our past, we can heal our ancestors, we can support them, and they can support us. And it's wonderful to think that actually we can have so much support there. So does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that's
I love what you
yeah.
just said, because I want to expand on that too. Because I feel like, yeah, like the work that we're doing right now. And I feel like that's why, like I said, so many of us have been awakening. So many are just now
Mhm.
awakening to something bigger, and that we don't have to carry around our wounds that we've experienced throughout our life
Yeah, yeah,
forever. That doesn't have to be who we are. We don't, that's not our identity, but we can heal. And it's an ongoing process. It's not a one and done, but when we do that, when we're constantly in this process of healing and being open to face pain and grief and all of that, we're not just doing that for ourselves. We're doing that for the generations before us that
yeah.
couldn't do it, that didn't have the capacity to do it, that weren't allowed to
That's
practice what we can practice now, that can talk about the things we can talk
yeah,
about now,
yeah,
and or that just were forced to think they have to hold this and live with this forever.
mm,
And that's, such there's so much beauty in like knowing that we're not just doing this for ourselves, like we're doing it for our past lineage, we're doing it for our daughters, our sons, the
Yeah,
people that come
yeah,
after us,
yeah,
and opening that gate to like just live more like freely and not bogged down by our
mm,
wounds and are burdened by them and
yeah, yeah,
reacting from those places. And our relationships, I mean, we could go into so many different segues from this that point of like how much everything in our lives is benefited from us doing the work on ourselves.
yeah,
And it's not perfect, and sometimes we weave in and out of that space. I know I do. And that's what I wanted to kind of segue into next, is like how can we support ourselves, or what can we do in this time, like
yeah,
where we're feeling this shift and not knowing, not seeing what's in front of us, just taking a next step into the unknown. And that is really tending to that inner world of ours. And that's what the new moon in Cancer is all about. It's the ultimate nurturer, the mother energy.
yes,
And then we're
yeah,
here to do that for ourselves right now, because if we
yeah,
can do that for ourselves, then we are so much more empowered to be that for other people too. And to just like normalize that process of like we're human and we feel and we have pain points and grief and all of the things, and we can still have that and have joy and live in
yeah,
joy and experience
yeah.
life and all of the things.
Yeah, we can have all of that, can't we? And I think it's so important that you remind us, our ancestors couldn't do what we're doing now. We are lucky. We live in the time we live in. We have resources that we didn't have. We have an understanding that we didn't have. We have a freedom that a lot of generations behind us didn't have. So
Hmm.
we are doing it for them, aren't we? But I think I love the fact that we're also doing it for future generations, because we're paving the way, aren't we? We're showing, you've got a lovely daughter, you're leading the way, you're leading by example of something that she is living with you. So what a wonderful, that's a simple way of looking at it. I know I haven't got children, but I know I'm doing this for future generations. There's something out there that I'm putting out there that I know is going to help someone in the future, someone that I'm never going to meet, never going to know, but I know it's going to help. And I think that is really comforting. Like you just said, what can we do to help ourselves when we're feeling like this? Partly just knowing that actually what we're doing here, yes, it's for us and everything, but what we're doing is helping past and future. We're part of
Hmm.
the big picture, we're part of it, and this is what it's all about. I find that hugely motivating, if you like. Just the times when I go, oh, I don't want to do it, I don't want to feel it, I have my moments, and I go, oh, but this is for the good. And I love the fact that, yes, of course it's for me, but also if I can think about this as helping other people too, that does give me that motivation and that little bit of like, okay, when I'm having a down day, I go, yeah, it's worth it, it's good, because it's
Yeah.
not just me, not feeling alone and knowing that it's not just me. Does that sort of make sense?
It does. It resonates so much, and it's to circle back to the what we were talking about earlier about what's happening on the collective level, on the world, global level right now, and like this feeling of like there's so much going on, and all these
Mm,
different places we can be looking and focusing our attention on. But the one thing, and we have no control over any of that, and
mm,
but what
mm,
we do have control over is our inner world, like bringing it back to that. And everything happens on the individual level first before it happens on the collective. It's individuals doing the work on themselves, like facing the good, bad, and the ugly truth of who they are,
mm.
and the truth of life itself, and a deeper truth, and a deeper and deeper and always
Yeah,
deeper truth. And being open to that process, and knowing that it doesn't have to be perfect. We don't have to look a certain way. We can be messy in it, and that's okay, because that's where the I immediately think of the mud to lotus like
yeah,
example or
yeah,
analogy, and
yeah,
that is where the fruits of our labor are born, in that messiness, in
mm,
the unknown, in our willingness to step into something that we might be a
yeah,
little bit afraid
yeah.
to.
Yeah, I love that. And I think to remind everyone that actually, it can be messy. We don't have to be perfect. We're still doing something. We're still
Hmm.
doing good. That's a good reminder, isn't it? And I think to feel maybe that's a time to sort of come to a natural end and just go
Yeah,
reminding everyone that actually, whatever you're going through, whatever you're feeling, however you think you might not be doing it right, however messy it gets, I love that, the good, bad, and the ugly, we're still doing good. We're still doing good. It's
yeah,
not just us. Yes, we start with us. Yes, we look after ourselves. We nurture ourselves. We give ourselves that kindness and that care. But just by doing that, we are doing it for other people too, aren't we? And I
we
love
are. I
that.
love that. That's a
Yeah,
perfect way to end this.
yeah, we're doing it too. Yeah. So what
So
I always say to people, what can you do for you?
yeah,
And I will say that now, put that out to everybody. What can you do for you? Think about that, but know that whatever you do for you, it has a ripple effect on other people too. And I
it
think
does. I
that will
love
help.
that. It's
I
so
hope that will
true.
help people. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So
yes.
where can people find you and the beautiful work that you do?
Yeah, the best place for people to find me and all about me and get to know me and what I do better is my YouTube channel, and that's Karma Self Coach. It comes under all of the chit chats go on there, and I think we're talking about the books. So I mean that's the original, so that you can see all my little notes and the lovely poetry book as well. And we didn't read from it today. You're right, but there's
No.
tons in there that will resonate with what we've been talking about today. So where can everybody find those and find all of the stuff that you do?
Those the Love Me books, the OG, the poetry and the meditations
Yes.
book is available. They're all available on Amazon.com or Amazon.ca or .uk, co.uk. Wherever you are in the world, they're available on Amazon. You just have to look it up by my name and the title.
Yeah.
And yeah, also on my website, this is trishcampbell.com, and of course
Yeah.
Instagram
Mm.
here. This is Trish Campbell. So yeah, and all of my work, other work, Reiki and supporting others is you can find
Yeah.
out more about that on my website too. So
Yeah.
this is
You do
trishcampbell.com.
so much. I mean, you support me so much, but I know you support other people, and I would encourage everyone to go and have a look and see what you do and how you do it because it's wonderful. So thank you for all that you do, and thank you for this chit chat.
Yeah.
It's given me another boost that I needed. So thank you, and hopefully
Yeah,
it will
thank
help people
you.
too.
Yeah, I'm so grateful we get to do this as always and
Me
can't wait for the
too.
next one. So
Yeah, me too.
thanks
Thank
everyone
you
who
so
joined us
much.
live and whoever's going to watch the replay too.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear from you in the comments as well.
Mm.
So yeah, until next time,
Bye
we'll see
bye.
you. Bye.